الجاذبية هي النظرية التي يعتبرها العلم العامل الأساسي الذي يحفظ كل شيء في انسجام تام على كوكب كروي.
Water does not come off the Earth because it has a central force pulling towards the center of the Earth, which is gravity.
هي لا توجد. حسب هذه التجارب الجاذبية غير موجودة. من أساسيات الطبيعة أداة التسوية والشاقول يدمران نظرية الجاذبية. الشاقول هو وسيلة تستعمل لقياس التعامد، وهو من بين الوسائل الرئيسية المستعملة في البناء لضمان التعامد الصحيح للبنايات. إذن هذه الأداة تستعمل لهذا الشيء، للحفاظ على استقامته وثباته، لا هكذا ولا هكذا، فقط قائم ومستوي. استعمال الشاقول هي الطريقة الوحيدة لضمان تعامد البناية بشكل تام. أداة التسوية هي وسيلة لقياس الميلان والانحناء، وهو أساسي لضمان الشكل الأفقي التام، ويستعمل بشكل مكثف في البناء والمراقبة، التصوير والفلك، من بين العديد من الأدوات الأخرى. والنموذج المشهور هو بفقاعة. كل عملية بناء تحتاج أداة التسوية والشاقول، لأنه بدونهما البناية ستسقط. تجربة تواصل الأوعية. هذه المعدات هي نظام لتواصل الأوعية، ويستعمل في المخبر لتبيان سلوك سطح الماء. في أي وضعية لنظام الماء المتواجد بداخلها، سيبحث دائما عن وضعية مسطحة مستوية. هذا السلوك للحصول على التسطح يمكن إثباته ليس فقط في المخبر، لكن يمكن إثباته في تجربة على بركة أو بحيرة أو بحر. هذه تجربة مصغرة لكل ما نجده في الطبيعة حول العالم، ماء مستوي ومسطح بعد التحقق من استواء الماء الدائم، وهذا في الوسط الصغير أو الكبير. وهذا يثبت انعدام وجود للجاذبية، لأن هذه القوة لو كانت فعلا موجودة، الماء كان سيتبع الانحناء الأرضي. إذن ما هي القوة التي تعمل من أجل أن تعمل الطبيعة بانسجام تام على شكل غير كروي؟ الباحثين من داكيلا ومركز زيغورت تكنولوجي استنتجوا أن من بين أساسيات الطبيعة أن القوى الأربعة المهمة والتي تعمل مع بعضها تمسكنا بثبات على الأرض، وهي المغناطيسية، الكثافة، الضغط والضوء. الباحثين أطلقوا على هذه القوى الأربعة MDBL. تجربة المجال المغناطيسي. من بين القوى الأربعة المغناطيسية، وعلى عكس ما تقوله العلوم، هي من أكبر القوى التي تؤثر على الأرض. هي القوى المهمة التي تحفظ كل شيء في توازن تام، من روابط الذرة إلى المجال المغناطيسي الأرضي. طريقة واحدة لدراسة سلوك المجال المغناطيسي للأجسام هو أداء تجربة بسيطة، حيث نحول فيها الطاقة الحركية المتولدة بواسطة المجال المغناطيسي للجسم إلى موجات ميكانيكية. هذا يمكن إنتاجه من خلال رمي جسم داخل الماء. مهما كان شكل الجسم، الموجات المتولدة ستكون دائما دائرية الشكل، لأنها معدلة من طرف المجال المغناطيسي الأرضي. لاحظوا أنه وبغض النظر عن شكل الجسم، الأمواج المتشكلة في الماء لديها دائما نمط دائري. هذا يحدث لأن الأمواج على الماء يتم تشكيلها بتأثير المجال المغناطيسي للأرض. هي لا توجد. حسب هذه التجارب، الجاذبية غير موجودة. لكن وإن ذهبنا بعيداً لإثبات كروية الأرض بدون سقوط الأبنية والناس والحيوانات والبنايات والماء، خاصة الماء، لأنه سيخرج للفضاء. لتبرير ثبات السكان على سطح الأرض دون أن يخرجوا إلى الفضاء بسبب دوران الأرض، ابتكروا قوة سحرية تسمى الجاذبية، لكن هذه القوة السحرية أسقطناها بفضل أداة التسوية والشاقول. لأن السلوك الفيزيائي للماء هو البحث عن التسطح والاستواء. أم أن هذا خطأ فيزيائيا أيضا؟ إن كان السلوك الفيزيائي للماء حسب علومنا الفيزيائية يبحث عن الاستواء والتسطح دائما، فكيف له إذن أن يحول نفسه إلى كرة دون أن يطير في كل الاتجاهات في الفضاء، من دون أن يحاول أن يعود للشكل المتسطح؟ وهذه أشياء تناقض نفسها. وأكثر من ذلك، لتبرير الفصول قرروا جعل الكرة تميل ب23 درجة. لا توجد أي طريقة تجعل الكرة تميل، من المستحيل ميلانها. دعنا نرى هذا. كيف لكرة أن تميل ولا يسقط منها الماء؟ زد على ذلك، يجب عليك أن تتصور أن لها محوراً خيالي، وحتى لو كان عندها محور فيزيائي، فالذي سيكون مائل هو المحور وليست الكرة. وفي أي وضعية للكرة لا يمكنها أن تميل، المحور فقط هو الذي يميل. محور خيالي، وهذا وهم أيضا. إن كان محورا خياليا فهذا وهم، وهذا تناقض آخر. ابتكروا هذا المحور الذي هو أصلا غير موجود فقط لتبرير الفصول على أرض كروية في نموذج كروي. هذا مستحيل. حسنا، بالتأكيد نحن لا نعيش فوق كرة، لأن السلوك الفيزيائي للماء في الواقع لا يتناسب مع فرضية الكرة. وبواسطة أداة التسوية والشاقول، هذه النظرية تم إسقاطها بالكامل وإطفاؤها. إن لم تكن كروية فما هو شكلها؟
What would Earth be like? The first sight, the Earth is absolutely flat. But this plane goes where? Is it square? Is it a circle?
Looking from above, the impression you have is that the Earth is flat.
Scientists of the past had only the eyes to observe and the reasoning to create possibilities. The older ancients used a model of the flat Earth, square Earth, triangular and geoid. Later, other scientists defined the most suitable model would be spherical, geoid, putting a stake at one point and another at 800 kilometers. But he did not take into account the altitude, had no GPS, had nothing. So, there is really no way how these ideas, with the technology of today, can be considered, because everything we have today overthrows these theories. Any experiment today can prove that the globe doesn't exist. It's impossible.
But then, how can we determine the real shape of the planet? The CTZ researchers collected information on the movement of the sun, the moon, and the stars in different parts of the planet. In this research, which lasted several years, images were recorded by cameras installed in all these places during the day and at night.
We found several differences in the trajectory of the sun. One of the most significant was between Australia and Argentina, which are in the same tropic.
While in Argentina, the sun moves at about 180 degrees. In Australia, it moves almost 270 degrees, which would be impossible in a spherical Earth model. Another significant example was in the Canary Islands, where a time-lapse of the stars showed a circular movement incompatible with the spherical model of the Earth.
This movement would only be justified if the place were near the poles in a spherical Earth, which is not the case.
We do not understand that with so many discrepancies we have found, and with the technology available today, no researcher, no scientist, no astronomer, no space agency in the world has perceived any of this.
The discrepancy in the comparison of the trajectory of the Sun and the stars between the different points, when related to its geographical position in the current world map, allowed to generate a new geographical model of the continents. In this model, the continents present a size and position somewhat different from the current world map, having the North Pole to the center and the other continents around it. This new model was called convex Earth.
We call it convex Earth because the continents have a convex relief, starting at the sea level, rising to the highest point, and returning to the sea level.
According to altimetric analyses, all the continents present a convexity in their relief. According to the investigations, in the convex Earth, the magnetic field has the following layout, with the magnetic North Pole located in approximately the middle of the planet. Due to the magnetic field, anywhere on the surface of the planet, a compass will always point to the North Pole, as the South Pole represents its entire border. The magnetic field is also responsible for modeling the shape of our atmosphere, which takes the form of a plane convex lens. In this way, the atmosphere, formed by several gases and water in gaseous state, takes on the characteristic of a gigantic magnifying glass with a high degree of refraction, responsible for day and night. The following experiment simulates the behavior of day and night. We use a flat convex lens, a model of the continents, and an external light source simulating the sun. The result is a model of day and night in the corresponding time zones.
What helped us a lot in this research was the information we collected at our own astronomical observatory of the Sigurats Technology Center.
In this manner, the researchers concluded that the Earth is neither spherical nor geoid, but rather convex on the continents and flat in the waters. In this concept, the Earth is like a huge, misshapen asteroid floating in space, surrounded by a very high layer of ice all along its edge. And how do satellites work in the convex Earth?
The magnetic field of our planet is primarily responsible for keeping the satellites in orbit. Briefly, there are two types of satellites, the geostationary and the orbitals. The geostationary ones are apparently fixed in a position over the surface of the planet. I say apparently because its orbit has to be corrected periodically. Orbital satellites are in orbit over the surface of the planet. They have different routes and altitudes according to each application.
And why do Earth photos taken from space show a curvature?
We launched several atmospheric probes, and we noticed that the images recorded in the upper layers of the atmosphere begin to show a certain curve after a certain height. This occurs in the high layers of the atmosphere, above the stratosphere, that is. In an airplane window, you would not notice this curvature. We observed that this effect does not occur due to the supposed curvature of the planet, but due to two factors. The first, due to the large flat convex lens of our atmosphere, and the second, according to the theory of curvature of light proposed by Albert Einstein, experimentally proven in 1919.
According to Albert Einstein's theory, the mass of a large object can create a curvature in space-time around it, able to bend the path of a beam of light in its vicinity. This phenomenon was called a gravitational lens.
A proven physical law has to work in both macro and micro environments. In this way, the gravitational lenses were proved through astronomical observations of objects of great mass. then we conclude that the curvature of light in the high layers of the atmosphere also occurs as a function of the mass of the planet itself and of its magnetic field. We fabricate in our laboratory a physical gravitational lens capable of correcting the curvature of light in the upper layers of the atmosphere. In the experiments, we reached the degree of 0.22 for the total correction. This can also be proved through computational simulation. This law also applies to other bodies, such as the Moon, and the planets we know from our solar system. They apparently are spherical when viewed through telescopes, but we do not know their real format. That is, not always what we see represents reality.
To facilitate the understanding and comprehending of the new model of the planet, the researchers built scale models of both the spherical and convex models.
We made a scale model on geographic scale, just so that people have better clarity. A visualization that much more facilitates the understanding of what Earth really is. According to the report, according to all the research that has been carried out by our researchers, we have come to the conclusion of this format of the Earth.
We have been conditioned since childhood to accept that our planet has this round format. But if I say that there doesn't even exist a real image of our entire planet, to date, none of the space agencies of these institutions have managed to register an entire image of our planet. With all the technology and advances of science, this image does not yet exist. So how are they made, all those beautiful photographs we see on the internet, on posters, in films? This is very simple. Local images are taken, passed to a computer program, so they are manipulated, forged into a format we know today. This beautiful image, this photograph of the blue planet that we know, is nothing more than propaganda, just like many others we see daily. According to the research done, the calculations and measurements taken from our planet, this is not its format. The real format of our world is this. It is convex in its continents and leveled in the waters.
I was hired to build a model of the globe and the convex Earth. I never thought that the Earth would have a different shape. I always believed that the Earth was a globe, an entire round sphere, all tidy, perfect. After the completion of the construction, I see the importance that you cannot live on a planet without level and without plumb. I can only conclude that our planet is convex.
Just as the image of our planet is manipulated, the size and shapes of the continents also go through the same type of problem. They are very different from what we have custom to see on the world maps. Countries like Brazil or Russia, they gain land extensions much larger than are informed, which would explain so many miscalculations in land demarcations. Now, how do we come to this conclusion? It is very simple. If we take into account all the numerical data, all the measurements, the distances in the tropics, the meridians, the coasts, the extensions of land, and apply it on paper, taking all the details into consideration, all these continents suffer great distortions. Without exception, none of them stay out of it. Some, as I said, Brazil and Russia, suffer an increase in land, and others, like the United States, suffer a reduction.
During the surveys, strong evidence emerged of the existence of a new continent.
And what about the new continent that is far beyond our borders? We call it the Greater North. For those who are here in South America, heading north, so we call it the Greater North. With the help of Navy and Air Force officers, we were able to trace logistics towards the Greater North, towards Siberia, towards Russia. There were several factors that led us to perceive the existence of the new continent. With the launch of several atmospheric probes, equipped with cameras and other equipment, we were able to identify a territorial mass that is not included in our maps. It is not part of our current cartography. And, analyzing the images, mainly of the probes, we realized that it is part of a new continent, behind an immense layer of ice. After seeing these images, we directed our expeditions to the limits, where a human being or the autonomy of a ship were able to get. And we collected many evidences of dust on the ice, pollen, and other evidences that really brought us to the certainty of the evidence of this new continent. So there is no doubt that there really is a new continent, of new lands beyond the great mass of ice that impedes us to overcome. The research continues. We have not yet put our feet in this place. We only had observations from a distance, but we intend to get to this place as soon as possible.
A study performed by the CTZ on the Sun, Moon, and stars brought many answers regarding the positioning of the continents and the shape of the Earth. On the other hand, many questions have arisen.
Defining the real shape of the Earth was no easy task. But during research, we realized that the most difficult was yet to come. We realized that the sun brings forth many anomalies, its trajectory, the sunrise and sunset. We installed equipment in several countries in different parts of the planet. And all these equipments recorded different situations, anomalies that made us think. Rethink about trajectory and about what we learned about the sun. Its size, its distance to Earth does not match what we learn. It does not coincide the realities of the facts. It is an anomalous trajectory, totally different. It implies strong evidence that the sun is not a star the way we learn. It seems that it is much closer to the Earth than we think. Moreover, its trajectory is totally different. In several points, in several continents, the trajectory does not coincide with the reality, mainly in Australia and the Canary Islands. For example, in Australia, it rises and sets almost in the same place. In Antarctica, it's totally different. Some months of the year, it stays at a fixed point, practically without moving to either side. By observing all these anomalies around the world, we realize that there is a possibility that the solar system is totally different from what we have learned. It might not even exist. During these observations on the sun, we noticed that the moon has also a different behavior. Its trajectory is very similar to that of the sun, and its size is also completely atypical. The impression we have of the moon is that its size varies greatly, or its distance from the Earth varies greatly during its 28-day trajectory. There are days that it is closer, another more distant. It is as if its elliptic were totally within a different system of space out there, as if it were another reality. And because of the various anomalies observed in the sun, the moon and the stars, we determined that the Earth doesn't spin. It does not have the spinning motion. We can consider a gentle wobble or a gentle tilt. But sure, the land does not spin. It is motionless. The mystery surrounding the sun is so complex that we will continue our studies. We will continue to research because it is in our interest to unravel the mystery that surrounds our star. And what changes in our lives? Knowing the real model of the Earth changes everything. Mainly in the academic system. Schools will have to redo all of their programming from their school curriculum, geography, astronomy, mathematics, physics, everything changes. Everything we learn, the whole context, especially with regard to the model. Cartography, air navigation, maritime, fuel economy, military strategies, meteorology, climate issues, all of that changes. Everything we learned was mistaken. Now this new reality brings us the light of knowledge, a new vision of our world, a new perception of all we have learned, and the transformation in our life of our cultural affairs. The perception of the world, of knowledge, all pillars of wisdom. There is an immense transformation for all people without exception, so surely a change for the better. But what changes most is the search for the truth. That is what motivated us to carry out all this research. The thirst to know, the thirst for knowledge.
And what about the specialists Mauro Diaz and Paulo Parra who accompanied the experiments?
I have always worked with the concept that the Earth is spherical. And my colleagues and all cartography is based on the sphericity of the Earth. A problem even of reasoning. Because I worked so many years in a belief, and I will accept a new belief, variables that had to be explained. As long as I did not have this explanation, I remained with a very big doubt that tormented me and even made me lose sleep at night. I kept thinking about it. But on this trip we did here on the Tres Marais Dam, we did a very important test. That is the projection of a laser at a distance of approximately 18 kilometers. And it is known in cartography and by the conception of the sphericity of the Earth that we cannot see a thing beyond 10 kilometers. So we witnessed this experience with all success. It was done at night. The laser beam projected parallel to the water mirror. The test resulted perfect and satisfactory. And we made the greatest effort, using as much as we had in our technology to do this test. We brought a laser beam, we brought theodolites, we used communication radios. So I declare concluded the basic part of this research, and I feel it is a moment of glory for us. So to finish, I know there will be a series of confrontations, doubts among other technicians, but we are convinced to get them also to do research. I think this is a very big paradigm shift for Earth science. I, as an engineer, and all the studies I did to train me and specialize in me, I always considered the Earth as a spherical shape. So I had these preconceptions. But for us to start, when we began doing the tests, and until so now, I deleted the prejudices that I had from my head, trying to imagine myself without any knowledge of the Earth, to verify whether it is spherical or not. It is clear, without a doubt, that the Earth in the lakes region is flat. There was no difference of level at all. So I know it's difficult even for you to have the courage to talk about this issue here. Many professionals have refused to talk about it out of fear of having their career damaged, their image damaged, for contradicting a theory that has been there for 2,000 years and which has never been proven in practice, in the case of the Earth's sphericity. They are thus only theories in relation to exact science. What advice would you give to the researchers, to the people who occupy the same chair as you? The important thing is to eliminate these preconceptions, because those who understand these three forces well, magnetism, density, and pressure, may have a very great technological advance, develop other concepts of transport, of energy. I think those who understand from this new knowledge try to deeply understand. They will have a very great gain in technology. We humans of the Earth, we will have a very great gain of technology. I have learned one thing. We have to have an open mind to discuss any theory, even if it seems absurd. At first I had this difficulty of understanding this revelation. I spent months working on this. We are coming to the end and all the report. All this will be archived, made available on the internet, for anyone who wants to repeat the tests. We will include all the devices that were used, all technologies, all coordinates. We are here at the Três Marias Dam in Minas Gerais, and all this will be available to all of you, so that everyone can repeat the tests at home if they want. With this, we hope that our contribution to science and to the people, to the government, to the Air Force, not only Brazilian, but to all countries, including, so that all people can have a different vision from those 2,000 years that we had this spherical Earth theory. And now I hope you draw your own conclusions.
دمتم طيبين ونشكركم على المتابعة. مع تحيات قناة واقع اليوم Reality Today. نأمل بأن تدعمونا باللايك والسبسكرايب، فذلك يدفعنا لعمل المزيد من هذه الأفلام. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.